Hi everyone! Today we are going to do
It's a book sale haul. All that we can really say about the book sale is that it's held at a local community center. And we got a lot of books.
You live for it.
I
You
do.
can say a little more than that.
I live for it. It's my Christmas.
Yes, it's your Christmas.
It is.
So we got some pretty big stacks of books here.
Yeah, we do.
All the space I made on my shelf
All the
from unhauling is now full.
Yeah.
And it's only one book sale
There's a second one.
of the year.
That's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first books that, this is all stuff that Matt picked up for me, so it's kind of a hodgepodge, is Little Women and this Little Women Christmas story. Little Women has a place in my heart from my childhood, and I've actually never had a copy of the actual, like, adult version of the book. So I'm excited to give it a reread as an adult in the proper copy.
That's good. This is one of Zoe's favorite authors, and an author I've been meaning to read more of, Jeanette Winterson. And the book is The World and Other Places. I'll probably start here because I'm reading a lot of short stories right now.
It's not that great.
Zoe says it's not that great. What would you recommend instead?
Well, you've already read Sex and the Cherry.
I've read Sex and the Cherry.
So I would say The Stone Gods.
Stone Gods.
That's what I would do next.
Right.
So.
Okay. That's good.
Just this lady's opinion. So the next book that Matt picked up for me is Thomas Hardy's Jude the Obscure. I've never read it, and it's a nice copy. It doesn't look like it's been even opened, and the text is nice and big, and that's the only way you're gonna get me to read classics, is by giving me a really nice copy. So maybe I'll read it.
There it is. Another classic, more modern classic, is Dawn Powell's Angels on Toast. I only started reading her. She just came on my radar. Actually, you recommended her, and then you forgot that you'd recommended her to me.
I forgot again. What? When did I do that?
You recommended her to me months ago, and I read...
What did I read?
I read The Locusts Have No King. You didn't read anything. She came on your radar, and then you put her on my radar.
Awesome.
And then I read The Locusts Have No King, and now I've found Angels on Toast, which I'm excited about, because I don't often find her. So, there she is.
Glad I made such a great recommendation.
Me too.
Another classic that's picked, a lot of classics get picked up in these things, is William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying. I've never read it. It's a nice copy. It is in really good shape. The text is big. Yeah, it's if I'm going to do it, it's going to be this one. So maybe one day.
Yeah.
One day I'll read it.
Two more classics. They are both Dover thrift editions. Katherine Mansfield's In a German Pension and 13 Stories. And Leo Tolstoy's The Kreutzer Sonata and Other Short Stories. As I said before, I'm reading a lot of short stories right now, so...
Perfect.
Go with the classics.
The next thing is this book is edited by and introduced by Toni Morrison. I'm actually pretty excited because since school I haven't done a whole lot of keeping up on reading essays.
Oh, yeah.
And Bell Hooks I think has gotten a little bit of play in there, but other than some Sontag.
Of course.
I haven't really dug into anything new in a while, and I'm looking at the back and there's a lot of names that I've heard of, but I haven't really explored, so I'm pretty excited to get into this.
My next book is Nobody Move by Denis Johnson. I read Denis Johnson's Jesus' Son. Didn't like it. Just didn't do it for me. But you know, I'm gonna give him another chance. And this copy is just...
It's a really nice copy.
Yeah, if you can't
looks
see,
like a chipped kid cover.
you've got the holes in it, and quite a strange cover underneath. Yeah, it's interesting. It does seem Chipkin inspired, doesn't it?
The next two are D.H. Lawrence, Sons and Lovers, classic, and The Rainbow. I have read neither. Will I ever read them? Maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I keep picking up John Updike, but I've never actually read John Updike.
I have.
You have. And you read his short stories, right?
I've read a few things. There's a collection of short stories I particularly like.
It was from the Great Loves.
Yeah, Great Loves.
Great Loves series of
and
Penguin, yeah.
That collection of short stories was incredible, but everything else I tried to read, I found that it's just kind of like more of the same thing, like upper class white people.
Waspy characters,
and their problems, and you know, I get it now, and not that it's not good, but it's all kind of the same, and so I don't need to read anymore.
Well, this is S, and we'll see if I ever read it.
That's a nice cover.
I do like that cover.
My next one is someone who gets a lot of play here, and that's Joan Didion. I've already read it. It's not my favorite Joan Didion, but it is the Joan Didion that there's certain people that I would lend this to. I'm excited to have a copy, basically, to lend to people who are like Joan Didion noobs, and I can break them in.
Here's a book I've been looking for a while, and then finally stumbled on, and that is The American Way of Death by Jessica Mitford. I'm very curious about the Mitford sisters in general. They have there's an interesting history there. I won't get into it, but it's an interesting story. Read about the Mitford sisters. They're fascinating.
Interestingly enough, this was in Mad Men in the last season.
This came up in Mad Men, and that was funny, yeah.
This one is Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. I have a growing collection of beautiful old Daphne du Maurier editions, so I was excited to have another one to add, and I do like her as a writer, so I'm excited to have more to read once I finally do dive into her completely.
Another exciting find was the collected stories of Eudora Welty. I haven't read any of hers, but she has a reputation. She's one of those Southern Gothic writers, you know, in the vein of Flannery O'Connor or Carson McCullers, both of whom I love. So I'm excited to find out if she can live up to them. Here's hoping.
My last hardcover from the sale is another one by Doris Lessing.
A lot of Doris Lessing.
I have quite a collection of Doris Lessing. She seems to be quite out of style, which I do not understand because she has such a range of writing, and she's actually a writer whose political beliefs and social beliefs change throughout her lifetime. So she's actually quite fascinating to read because you see the evolution of her thought process.
You do.
So anyway, this is another to add to my collection that I will definitely read because I actually read her stuff.
We've spoken about this author before, and we both admire him, and this is one I've been looking for a while. That's our 11's The Boys from Brazil. We've both read his Stepford Wives, and you've read Rosemary's Baby. This isn't one that gets talked about as much as those.
The next two are actually getting quite a collection of Evelyn Waugh. I love these covers. So A Handful of Dust, which is the big one, and the loved one. I will eventually make my way through Evelyn Waugh.
My next book is Dune by Frank Herbert. And I think I picked up in another haul the second and third. Yeah. But I didn't actually have the first. Now I do.
So the next one isn't really one of my favorite books, but it's Matt's favorite book, one of his favorite books,
it is.
And it's like the great copy that you should have.
That's a nice copy.
This is the kind of copy that if you're gonna read Catcher in the Rye, you should read this copy of it, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm excited to have it from a aesthetic sense.
Another D.H. Lawrence, and that is Lady Chatterley's Lover. Because no book sale would be complete without a copy of Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Didn't I?
No, you had the Sons and Lovers and the Rainbow.
Yeah, okay.
And I got Lady Chatterley's Lover.
The next one is also one of those, actually all these are those type of copies that you should read, but this I'm particularly excited about this. And that is Hunter S. Thompson's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and look at this copy.
That's a great old paperback.
It is awesome. I love it, so.
Next is John Wyndham's Web. I've been meaning to read Wyndham's Chrysalids and his Day of the Triffids, but this is a title I'd never heard of. Maybe after I read those, and you know, if I like him, I'll get around to this.
It's a good size.
Yeah, it's a good short novel.
Next one is Notes from Underground by Dostoevsky. And I'm excited to have my own copy because I haven't had one.
No.
Again, my favorite form, if we're gonna...
Paperback.
If we're gonna pick my favorite way of reading something, it is paperback, so I am most likely going to read this now.
My last paperback, another book I've been looking for a while, is V by Thomas Pynchon. You know, I've read Crying of Lot 49. Tried to read Inherent Vice, but I didn't.
Yeah,
like the film,
Crying of Lot 49.
It didn't live up to my expectations.
Inherent Vice I couldn't do.
No, it's all about the Crying of Lot 49. We'll see about V. Maybe one day I'll tackle Gravity's Rainbow.
I started it.
Did you?
Yeah, I've never...
That's massive.
It's massive. One day I'll tackle it for real.
One day.
The next one for me is The World in the Evening by Christopher Isherwood.
It's one that I've never heard of.
I've never heard of it, and he's someone that I have quite a lot of...
Goodbye to Berlin and Single Man, the ones you've heard of. But the
never...
offbeat titles like that one.
And this is a great Penguin edition.
Yeah.
It's a bit different.
That's a strange copy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I like it.
My last book is Group Portrait with Lady by Heinrich Boll. And I picked it up because I'm interested in German literature, particularly German literature of this era. I haven't read any of Boll's other novels, but he's been compared to a number of writers I like, you know, Dürrenmatt and Max Frisch and Peter Weiss. All good authors, so hopefully he'll live up to that.
My last one is my favorite of all the ones that were bought for me, and that is the collected novels of George Orwell.
Yeah.
Look at how great this font looks. It looks really good on my bookshelf.
That's excellent.
And I like just that I don't have to worry about grabbing some of the less known novels of George Orwell because I have a copy. You know, he's not hard to find certain titles, but other titles, they kind of get overshadowed maybe.
If it's not 1984 Animal Farm,
yeah.
you're less likely to find it, but here's an omnibus of all of his novels.
So when I'm ready to dive in,
Yeah.
I can now. This is the start.
It's a good start. That's it.
That's it. That's our haul is much bigger than any of my unhauls.
It's the book sale haul. It's gonna be big.
We're gonna have another one
We're gonna have a much bigger haul at the end of the month.
at the end of the month because the April book sale
That's the big book sale.
Yeah.
The one that I spend a year looking forward to.
So coming soon.
Oh yeah.
An even bigger book haul. I even get in on that sale.
You do.
I love that sale. So
It's not to be missed.
So coming soon, more books.
Stay tuned.
Bye everyone.
Bye.